Well, structurally, the US-China relationship is in the worst state it's been in about 50 years. It's 50 years next year since Henry Kissinger undertook his secret diplomacy in Beijing. So this relationship is in trouble strategically, militarily, diplomatically, politically, economically, trade, investment, technology, and of course in the wonderful world of espionage as well.
You've seen the headlines about the increasingly fractured relationship between the US and China, which is supposedly at its worst state in 50 years. China's increased military aggression, increased espionage, and technology decoupling are a couple reasons for the latest tensions. Just recently, Biden and Xi had their first face-to-face meeting on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Bali. The meeting seemed surprisingly positive as Biden stated that there is no need for a new Cold War. He also further emphasized that the two nations were committed to maintaining peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, and that he believed that China has no imminent plans to invade the island.
We oppose unilateral change in the status quo by either side, and we're committed to maintaining the peace and stability in the Taiwan Straits.
Of course, the smiles and handshakes do account for some positive progress. The remarks of the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, just last month highlight that China is indeed on a much faster timeline to seize Taiwan. Also last month, Xi called for China to create a world-class military as he declared supremacy over Hong Kong and set his sights on Taiwan. Xi recently said in a speech that the complete reunification of our country must be realised, and it can, without a doubt, be realised, the China leader added. He also recently stated that China must comprehensively strengthen military training in preparation for war, having warned at a recent party congress of dangerous storms on the horizon.
Be ready to withstand high winds, choppy waters, and even dangerous storms, he warned, of tough times ahead. Xi mentioned security or safety dozens of times. The biggest applause when he declared Taiwan will be part of mainland China, even if it means taking the self-governed island by force.
This, of course, comes off the back of rewriting China's own political rules to force another term in office. It is clear that Xi Jinping has climbed the political ladder of China's system and has forced a new term in office, breaking many rules placed many years prior. We all remember the scenes just a few weeks ago as ex-Chinese President Hu Jintao was dragged out as the party's National Congress concluded. We still don't know the absolute detail regarding the sudden removal of Jintao. Many experts have stated that the removal of Jintao was a symbol that Xi is ushering in a new era of one-man rule surrounded by only extreme loyalists, and any influence from party elders or rival factions must be removed.
Some arguing it was a deliberate power play by Xi. Others, including state media, saying this was all because of Hu's health. To date, no media outlet in China has mentioned the incident.
When you look at the Chinese governing system, you will see 300 officials arranged in 5-level hierarchy. At the top is Xi, who is also the president and commander-in-chief of the military. To claim a third term, Xi must break a rule created 2 decades ago by outgoing President Jiang Zemin, which is a retirement age of 68. Although Chinese officials have dismissed the rule as folklore, none of the Central Committee's members appointed since have crossed the barrier. This is very important as Xi is expected to be the first leader to breach the rule since its inception. Hence, he also confirms Xi's status as a historic figure on par with Mao Zedong, who died in power at 82 years of age. His rise to power has not gone unnoticed. When he took power in 2012, Xi inherited a party packed with officials by former leader. He had 33 officials removed from the Central Committee during the first 5 years of power. This was by far the most during the past 3 decades. In all, 65% of the Central Committee was replaced in 2017, the most since at least 1992. He is clearly breaking any tradition in Chinese politics. At the beginning of the president's second term, usually 2 members would be appointed to the standing committee who were young enough to stay on for 15 years, like Xi was in 2007. But in 2017, Xi appointed nobody who could stand that long, signalling that he would be in power for a 3rd term. Xi is likely to tightly control and be involved in all major foreign policy decisions. His packing of the top Chinese leadership with loyalists will allow him to better control and exert influence. said Bonnie Lin, director of the Center for Strategic and International Studies, China Power Project. As such, China holding the largest population on the planet makes Xi arguably the most powerful man in the world. That loyal inner circle has not only strengthened Xi's hold on power, but also tightened his grip over China's future. To an extent unseen in decades, the country's trajectory is shaped by the vision and ambition of one man, with minimal room for any diversity in views and discussion at the party's apex of power. President Xi's own power trip can be clearly seen in his interaction with Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, treating him as an errant schoolboy at the G20 summit.
而且我们也不是那样进行的。
And that's not how the way the conversation was
如
conducted.
果有诚心，咱们就互相尊重的态度来进行很好的沟通。
If there is
否则这个结果就不好说了。
if there is
Canada, we
sincerity
believe
on
in
your
a
part,
free and open and frank dialogue, and we will continue to have. We will continue to look to work constructively together, but there will be things we will disagree on, and we will have
皆可以建设。
创造条件，创造条件。
Let's create the conditions first.
好。
In recent weeks, Xi has had more visits from foreign dignitaries in the past 2 years. Of course, China's COVID-0 stance has placed China on the back foot in terms of foreign affairs. In the coming years, we could see an intense form of Chinese diplomacy. All this is related to China's assessment of the external international environment and specific challenges China will have with the United States and Western countries. Hence, the primary use of soft power, which we saw before COVID, with the Belt Road Initiative, will likely be seen. Xi is arguably the most powerful man in the world and is on course to be the Chinese leader for life, rivaling Mao. He has rewritten Chinese politics and is now more focused on achieving China's Marxist goals on the domestic and international level. This does of course mean a potential military collision course with the United States with its desire to one day invade Taiwan.